Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Folks, what is up? I'm your host, Ty B. It is Degenerate Danger Zone, April 23rd. It's time to get some free money. We got some guy named Steve joining me and Sugar J, the professor of sweet science here to bring in some boxing knowledge for you. He's got some futures for you, some parlays to look at. Steve, though, let's get it started here. Lots of baseball tonight, lots of late starts, exactly what I love to see on a Friday night.
Yeah.
What's the first play you're looking at?
I'm loving baseball right now. Went 4-1 yesterday on all my picks and had the craziest overhit for the Mariners Red Sox thanks to Mitch Haniger hitting a 3-run shot on top of the 10th. So I'm just going right back. All baseball plays tonight. First one today, Oakland Athletics minus 140 at the Baltimore Orioles. It feels almost too good to be true for the value here. You're getting the hottest team in baseball. The Athletics have won 11 straight games. They're scoring 6.5 runs per game. They've outscored their opponents 71-33, and they're facing the Orioles, who are 1-6 at home and have Jorge Lopez on the mound, who's got an 8 ERA, like a 1.8 WHIP. It just seems too good to be true, but sometimes you just got to fall in the trap, and I'm falling right in with the Athletics. Hottest team in baseball. I love the Athletics. I'm just rolling with them.
No, sometimes you have to do that. You have to ride with the hot teams. And we've seen whether it's them or the Knicks right now, they continue to provide free money. So keep getting it while you can. It was the same thing with the Sabres on their losing streak. We could have all been millionaires if we would have just faded them every single game, but we didn't. My first play here, I'm looking at this Jays Rays game. I'm going to stay away from taking a pick. Although I do like my Jays to win, Tyler Glasnow is on the mound. The Jays are going to be countering him with Steven Matz. He's been phenomenal so far since coming over from the Mets. I think he's figured it all out. He's gotten right, and I just see this one in the first inning. No runs. Love that play. Ton of juice at minus 165. How about you maybe parlay it with no runs in the first inning in that KC Detroit game? You got Mike Minor going up against the youngster Casey Mize. Casey Mize has been looking pretty good this year, 1-1 with a 3.38 ERA. I like the stuff that he brings, and coming out first inning, neither of those offenses really scare me, Steve.
Yeah, and another thing about Mize too, highest velocity increase from last year to this year of all starting pitchers, which is a big thing, especially with the potential he has.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sticking with baseball for my second play. And speaking of good pitchers, ever heard of Jacob deGrom? He's pitching for the New York Mets, and probably the best pitcher in baseball. And one thing I love with deGrom starts is just taking the under. And I know it's low. I'm taking the under 7 here. You're getting that at minus 115. They're playing the Nationals, whose offense has been terrible lately. The under's 1-5 in the Nationals' last 6, 8-3.
Mm-hmm.
5-1 in the last 6, 8-3 in the last 11. And the Mets offense has been miserable, which isn't surprising to anybody, really. 12 runs scored in their last 5 games, including a series in Chicago against the Cubs where the wind was helping them all series. Didn't do anything. And now Jacob deGrom's on the mound, and you know how the joke goes. The Mets just don't give him run support. He's the unluckiest pitcher in baseball, so I'll just take the under 7. Expect deGrom to shut down the Nationals and the Mets offense to do what they normally do and not help them whatsoever.
I love playing that trend right there, Steve. I think it's the biggest joke in all of MLB Twitter, and it always ends up being true. He gets no run support. But we got our guy Jordan here. He came all the way in from the West Coast. He hit the creek yesterday, and he found some futures that you could get in here at the creek, and then he's got some other fights to look at for the long term here.
I do. I am in town from Los Angeles. Had to get out to the creek. Had to see what all the fuss is about. And I got to admit, I made a mistake. See, I went yesterday, was looking at the picks, wasn't seeing a whole lot, found a decent parlay, and I'm looking at the website now, and there is value all over the place. Folks, I got in on a nice little 4-fight parlay. I still feel pretty good about it. But unfortunately with the creek, a lot of times they're not giving a lot of specific odds. So you can pick the winner or the loser of the fight, but they're not giving a whole lot of over on rounds, whether or not the fight's going to go the distance, who's going to win on points, disqualification. They're starting to open that up for some of these fights now. I got to tell you to get out and do it. I took Emmanuel Navarrete. He's a fighter I've been a fan of for years, featherweight champion. The only odds I could get him at was minus 110 to win outright. Now, folks, they're giving the odds. You can take him to win by the distance. All of a sudden, we turn that minus 910 into a plus 125. The guy he's fighting is Christopher Diaz, a good fighter. He's I think 26-2, but he's never been stopped. He's been in with some good opposition. Navarrete is a great fighter for the weight class. He's long, he's lanky, he's got power. 27 KOs and I think 32 wins, I want to say. Don't quote me on that. But I think Diaz can go the distance here. And if he does, that's plus 125. That is a huge swing. They got Katie Taylor. We're going to go over women's boxing real quick. Katie Taylor's a top 5 pound-for-pound talent in the sport. I got to think if she was a man, had more eyes on her, more fans watching her fights, she'd be a much heavier favorite. Minus 455 for a top 5 pound-for-pound talent is a huge steal. Unfortunately, I wish they were giving you the distance here. She's 17-0 with 6 knockouts. We don't see as many KOs in women's boxing as we do in men. If I could get Katie Taylor by decision, I'd absolutely take it. But I can't get that. All I can get you is the win outright. That's minus 455. Another fight I want to give you is Joseph Parker. He's going up against Derek Chisora. Every so often, Derek Chisora comes back into prevalence, and people think, oh, he's finally going to make a run for the heavyweight title. And then every time, it just seems as soon as he faces that gatekeeper, that really solid opposition, he gets beat. He's lost twice to Tyson Fury. He's lost twice to Dillian White. He lost to Klitschko way back in the day. Now he's up against Joseph Parker, former heavyweight champion. And Joseph Parker really kind of got left in the dust. He lost once, I believe, to Dillian White. He lost to Andy Ruiz. No, not Dillian White, sorry. Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz. Those were his only 2 losses, though. He just rebounded with a nice win over an undefeated Joseph Fa down in New Zealand. He's on the rise again. You can get him minus 159. I think that's a great part of our parlay here. The next fight I got, and I love this, we got Canelo. They finally opened it up. You can bet Canelo by decision. I think that's a great pick. Ever since Canelo switched over to Eddie Reynoso as a trainer, he's been more of a technical guy rather than just a straight come-forward knockout artist. And Billy Joe Saunders is an undefeated champion. Got to give him respect. But again, I talked about this last time I was on. Canelo's the best fighter on the planet. I see him winning a decision here, plus 135. I'm loving it. The last fight we can put into there is Dimitri Bivol. I got him yesterday at minus 2,500. Again, I'm not putting money on this unless it's part of a parlay, and I'm just looking to
parlay fodder. Shout out Meerkat.
Absolutely. But now the Creek shifted it overnight to minus 3,335. I mean, at this point, it's almost not even worth it. I put $100 down on my parlay. If I were to put that same $100 down, Dimitri Bivol shifts me about $30. If you want to throw it in there, go for it. If you just take those 4 fights, again, that's Joseph Parker on the money line, Emmanuel Navarrete to win after 12 rounds, Katie Taylor straight up, and Canelo by decision. You throw $100 in there at plus 983 odds, you're walking away with over $1,000.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and I love it. And I'm thinking about this the entire time. And like Degenerate Al, when he hears all this, he's gonna be like, "Oh, you can pick by the rounds." He's gonna be putting in so many futures of guys like to win by the specific round, like 20-1, parlayed with the Avalanche. I can't wait to see all the outcomes, but great info there, Jordan, and we can't wait to bring you back in to talk about these fights as they're upcoming and, on fight days, and to bring you more and more picks, because there's free money to be had all over the place. It's not just our bread and butter talking about, baseball and football and hockey. We give it to you all here at Degenerate Danger Zone. And, speaking of hockey, we got the Buffalo Sabres coming up. I'll be hopping on the Crossing Swords pregame report in a few minutes. Sabres plus 275. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen's first start. You got all the youngsters out there again. They're playing for UPL. They're going to be playing with the most heart we've seen all year long, especially after that beatdown late by Boston last night. They're going to come right back out with a lot of fire. I think the Sabres get this one done, plus 275 on the money line. Give me that. Steve, you got anything else tonight before we get out of here?
Last play, baseball, another total. Reds, Cardinals, over 8. The over for the Reds, 5-1 in the last 6. They just played a 10-inning game against the Diamondbacks yesterday where they had to throw 5 guys out of the bullpen. And you got Sonny Gray versus Kwang Hum Kim on the mound. I hope I said that right. Both guys don't really go long into games. You know, Sonny Gray, he's a good pitcher. He's a popular name, but he's got a short leash. He only had 1 start so far this year. Same with Kim for the Cardinals. So I could see some short leashes here, especially if the guys get into trouble. And they both have whips over 1.5 right now. I know they just only had 1 start on the year, but these guys walk a lot of batters. They've both had problems with that over the course of their career. You get some guys on base, 8 runs isn't too bad. And I've seen it too. You can get it at 7.5.
No, absolutely, Steve. I love it. You know, we're all over the place tonight. Hopefully, we're cashing a lot of tickets tomorrow, heading into a slick Saturday. He's going to be getting his rest. He's getting ready for tomorrow. That's why he's not on today. We're going to be bringing you an episode again tomorrow, probably shooting for around noon, 12:30 tomorrow for a start time for DDZ. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Follow us over at Degenerate Zone for more throughout the week. We got the Dart of the Day and tons of other content over there. I know Steve's been doing a bunch of great work with the Trainwreck Fantasy Show and a lot of good articles over at trainwrecksports.com. Make sure you go check those out. We have a ton of stuff coming out. And a shout out to our brand new sponsor, Outlet Liquor. What's your outlet? The place to buy a case. New York's only outlet liquor in the entire state. Love to see it, and we're very happy to bring them on as a partner, and look forward to maybe some giveaways and some other things and some stuff going on. You know, we're going to be bringing you some news when they got new releases and things to try out. So I can't wait for that. And you know what we got left, Steve. Get out there, go hammer the books, go hammer the creek, go do what you got to do, go get that free money. Good night now.